it is time for Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. I've went back and forth quite a few times with how to bring you this installment of the greatest action franchise of all time. Currently, Mission Impossible 8 Final Reckoning is in the third weekend. I'm going to bring you, and this is a part of a long form conversation discussion we're having with this franchise. We're going to meet it at the original TV series. Here's the wild thing, because everyone's talking Mission Impossible, right? It's Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch at the box office. I've had to remind quite a few people that Mission Impossible started as a TV series. A lot of people just think it's Tom Cruise and the movies. So I want to explore, some of the TV series later. But for tonight, we're doing MI4, aka
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
aka Pirates. There's so much to be said about Mission Impossible 4, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol takes the attitude, and thanks to J.J. Abrams, it takes the attitude of MI3, its predecessor, and it makes a full-on adventure out of it. A lot of the plot for the previous movie was Ethan Hunt getting back into action, juggling, having a wife, juggling, potentially moving on with a different type of career, so on and so forth. He's in, he's out of the Mission Impossible force, but he's fading. This movie just says, we understand what happened previously. We have a new attitude for adventure, and we have a kind of like a new position to put these characters in. Let's just all gas and go crazy. This is the movie that gives us endless imagery. It gives us Tom Cruise scaling a skyscraper. It gives us in the beginning, we get Josh Holloway, aka the guy from Lost, the coolest guy from Lost. He's a spy. He dies, but we see a couple more layers of the Mission Impossible force. It's also directed by Brad Bird. We're 4 movies in, 4 separate directors, 4 unique visions, and it keeps going. We get another new director with Mission Impossible 5. Mission Impossible 5 is built on top of this movie. And 4, 5, and 6 successfully build off of each other in such a great way that everything we get in Final Reckoning feels like a Final Reckoning, because you're almost like, what else can these characters do? You know, what else can Ethan Hunt do? We owe a ton of the comedic timing that we see on screen in this movie thanks to Brad Bird, who has an animation background. We know him from The Incredibles. We know him from The Iron Giant. After this, he unsuccessfully cashes a blank check from Disney to make Tomorrowland with George Clooney. That's a different conversation. I do feel like I owe that movie more time. I always feel like I sold that movie short. I'm not sure if I ever spoke on it, but one day we'll do Tomorrowland on this podcast. But this is the new Mission Impossible. That's the way you have to look at Ghost Protocol. We have Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, then Fallout, then Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Final Reckoning, or Dead Reckoning Part 2. With all of that, we get characters, and the true impact of this movie is felt today. We get Paula Patton, Jeremy Renner, 2 characters that didn't show up in this final installment in Final Reckoning, and there was an uproar online. People have been looking for Paula Patton's return to this franchise based on her revenge fight that she has with Leia Serdok, who's the femme fatale who kills her boyfriend Josh Holloway in the beginning of the movie, and they finally fight. And when they fight, guess what happens? She doesn't kill her. She captures her. They have to talk to her. They have to interrogate her. She has saved the asset. Keep in mind, we have 2 James Bond movies where the whole gag for the James Bond movies are Casino Royale Quantum of Solace, where Daniel Craig cannot not kill someone. Every single person he encounters for 2 straight movies that could give him information, he kills. But Paula here, she or her character Jane Carter, she does the right move. She saves the asset later for the asset to get into another exchange. They fight again, and then she kicks her out of a window. And it's such a deadly fight scene, like both of them, because you know how much she loved this guy, and you know, like, she's been waiting for this moment, and you know that she's a skilled assassin. She's an equal fighter. It's one of the best fight scenes in all of the Mission Impossibles. I love it. I look forward to it. And it's nice sometimes. This is why you have a cast of characters, because you kind of like pick and choose what some of your favorites are in a long enough timeline. This single fight solidified her in the biggest action movie franchise of all time. I look forward to her fighting more than Tom Cruise scaling that tower, his glove failing, the gag with the, you know, when Tom Cruise is climbing up the building, he finds the glove waiting for him, and it blows away in the wind. Again, comedic timing only from an animator. But we also get one of the great sequences where Tom Cruise scales a building and then outruns a dust storm, breaks into a server room, negotiates nuclear codes, and this is all in the middle of the movie, and it's so frenetic, and it moves at such a pace, and it feels natural. And again, this is where you give so much credit to Brad Bird. The genius of Tom Cruise recruiting Brad Bird, seeing something in him from animation. It's incredible. This is one of my absolute favorite Mission Impossibles. It's hard, like, I love them so much, it's hard for me to put them in order, but MI3 is so there for me. And it's like 3, 4, then it's 2. So many people, a lot of people put Rogue Nation up there, but for me, AKAPAD, it's all gas. It's all Ghose Protocol. And this movie did very well. I mean, where were we with the box office with this movie? 694 million worldwide off of a budget of 145. We had the amazing Kremlin sequence in this movie, which is one of the cooler break-ins where he's with Simon Pegg. And and within these movies now, Simon Pegg's character, Benji, he gets to do a little bit more and more and more with Ethan Hunt on these missions. In this movie too, he's somewhat recruited, because, you know, like, through Tom Cruise. And again, we see a little bit of this relationship forming. In the next movie, I believe he's 100% a field agent. Amazing, really cool stuff, AKAPADers. And the other big note about this movie, we'll kind of end it with this. Growing up, you always heard about Alien, or Aliens being the director franchise. You would have David Fincher, James Cameron, Ridley Scott. It was the franchise for directors, which is that PR was so well formed and repeated that as the franchise went forward and the movies weren't better or of a certain quality or of a director's type movie, there was a growing disappointment in the Aliens franchise. Now, I think it's returned a little bit to center with getting some visionaries involved with, you know, like, just look at Romulus. I think Romulus is a very inspired, visionary movie. But what people miss is that Tom Cruise, through his eye and through his ability to recruit individuals and harness storylines, he has turned Mission Impossible into the greatest director franchise of all time. We've had Harry Potter basically get taken over by one director. We've had the Hunger Games effectively get taken over by one director. We've had the Bourne films effectively, again, be a single director vision. The only other franchise, but there's not enough heat to the franchise, meaning admiration and just attention would be Pirates of the Caribbean. We have 5 movies. We have 3 separate directors for those. Very, you can measure the pirate movie quality versus some of the Alien movies that you might want to say that's second or third greatest director franchises. We even had chunks of the Fast and Furious run with a single director, single vision. To me, the first 5 Mission Impossible movies are so impactful. They're so different. They do build on top of one another, and by the time we get to the 6th one, Fallout, the way that it's really kind of like a pedal to the metal movie where you don't know up from down, and all the spy stuff is perfectly laid out. It's really rare that we get what we have with Mission Impossible, and we always have to appreciate Ghose Protocol for it. There was a time where a lot of people would direct towards Ghose Protocol. To me, it was always Mission Impossible. It was always like 3, 2, 1. Those are like, that's the order of enjoyment. But I do love the visual style of that second one so much. I put it on. I love the music. I love the score. I just love the look of that one. And even to this day, that Mission Impossible 2 is so uniquely different than everything else. Again, speaking from a director, right? Like, it screams John Woo. But I don't know, AKAPAD, Ghose Protocol is there. Every time I watch it, though, I wait for those girls to fight. It's one of the best high stakes spy fights I think ever. All right, AKAPAD, a couple words about Ghose Protocol. Why the hell not? Love you. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.